When is a gift not a gift? Perhaps when it is given grudgingly, or when one's forced to give, or one gives less than one should. Is it a gift when one is asked to give, rather than giving freely? One thinks of Maimonides' 8 degrees of giving, each one higher than the other, the highest being to help those in need with a gift of a loan or partnership, or by enabling them to find employment so that they may become independent. Anonymity is a higher degree than the case of a recipient and giver knowing each other, or only one of them knowing the other. The Hebrew word for charity is tzedakah, and implies not only an act of love, but also and especially of justice. The root of the word tzedek means to be just or righteous. It is to do what is correct in order to relieve suffering and correct injustice, and to ensure that God's gifts are shared by all in society. We can share our food with the hungry and give our wealth to causes that desperately need help. We can give to individuals, and we can give to communal funds. The Talmud teaches that tzedakah, charity, is greater than all sacrifices, and gemilut chasadim, deeds of loving kindness, are greater than giving. In our own time, we offer gifts of money, clothes, shelter, food, basic necessities to help people live with what they need and in order to exist with dignity. Our monthly drop-in for asylum seeker families is currently suspended, but our lead volunteers have managed to find a way to send food vouchers to our guests, so that even if they can't receive the other things we've been offering, nappies, good quality second-hand clothing, children's school uniform, and so on, they have some means to buy food and other necessities for themselves. It's not enough for those in poor accommodation, without room for children to run about or work quietly doing their schoolwork in these online times, but it is a little something above what they manage on weekly. Our Torah portion for this week, the double parashah Bahar B'chukotai, deals with a different kind of giving, vows or promises made by the individual to God. In temple times, that vow may have been the offer of a sacrifice, an animal, for example, or an individual may have dedicated themselves or another to the service of God. Hannah, the mother of Samuel, dedicated her son to the sanctuary at Shiloh, saying to the priest, Eli, who had taken her for a drunken woman rather than a woman in distress because she couldn't conceive, she says, I am the woman who stood here beside you and prayed to the Eternal One. It was this boy I prayed for, and the Eternal One has granted me what I asked of him. I in turn hereby lend him to the Eternal One, for as long as he lives, he is lent to the Eternal One. The judge Jephthah makes a vow promising to sacrifice whatever comes out of his house when he returns from a successful military campaign. Tragically, it turns out to be his daughter. There's also another kind of giving, one that the advances of medical science have made possible in our own times, and that will become law this week. Max and Kira's law the Organ Donation Deemed Consent Act is due to come into effect on May the 20th. The law is named for two 9-year-olds, Max, who received the heart of Kira, who died in a road traffic accident in the summer of 2017. Under the new law, all adults in England will be considered as having agreed to donate their own organs when they die, unless they record a decision not to donate, known as opting out, or are in one of the excluded groups, which include people under the age of 18 and those who lack the mental capacity to understand the new arrangement, as well as others. This is not the place to consider the halachic sources in detail, except to say that Jewish law recognizes the duty to heal and thereby extend life, and the principle of pikuach nefesh, the saving of human life. Organ donation under English law will no longer be a pure gift, but a legal obligation, albeit one we can opt out of if we so wish. It is not an anonymous act, selfless or otherwise, but it is rather an act that reinforces our human relationships and connections in the public sphere. The law is underpinned by a sense of mutual obligation and public good. It is not a privatized act, but reflects the need for universal health and well-being. It is, if you like, an obligatory gift. And in biblical terms, it is a recognition that we do not own our bodies. In a sense, we are God's. In the words of our Torah portion this week, Ki avadaihem asher hotziu otam me'eretz Mitzrayim, for they are my servants, says God, whom I freed from the land of Egypt. They may not give themselves over into servitude. I'm not sure why this law, this new law, Max and Kira's law, the organ donation law, has had so little publicity in recent weeks. No doubt it has been eclipsed by the tsunami of news and reports about COVID-19. If you are worried about what it means, please do be in touch with one of the rabbis, or better still, have a look at the NHS organ donation website. The virus has brought many things to our attention, not least the work that is done by the NHS, and this new law may just be timely and help us to see that the gift of our organs is not only an act of altruism, but also a mitzvah, an obligation, a commandment, a promise that we make for the good and for the life of a greater number of people in our world. Ken yehi ratzon. May this be God's will, and let us say, Amen.